Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to the wonderful worlds of Hermits and Crafting, where today we will be touring our now complete Scarlandia city, and it is so exciting to see this place from above with shaders and all the beauty that it is, and to just look back and see where we started from, how this place evolved from a blank field to this massive shiny city with freeways and tunnels, bridges, rockets, and skyscrapers touching the clouds. So let's dive in, go deep into the city and see how it all came together and all the little farms and all the little subtleties of the city that we worked so very hard on. And if you enjoyed this season and of course the city, please, my friends, hit that like button and it would mean so very much to me. And let's get this tour underway. As we start out the tour, no better place to start is in the past and what we started with. This is the land that Scarlandia sits upon in a brand new world. There's the ravine that we died so many times falling into. You can see off into the distance there where the original base was in the start of season 5, and that of course was the Hobbit hole, and there's the bridge location on that side, and it's kind of amazing. There was these little pockets of forest and things along those lines that we terraformed down to be able to create the kind of man-made structure that we eventually did. And yeah, this is where the Hobbit hole once stood, kind of up on this little cliff here, and it's just absolutely amazing to think that over by this river, it felt like it took like 5 minutes to hike from there to here. That's just something it's kind of rewarding about survival that you don't always get with like a creative build, is that sense of accomplishment that you created something. You gather the wood, you gather the stone to create the structure that you live in. There's just something special about that you just can't replicate with creative, and that's why I love vanilla Minecraft so very much, my friends. But I want to see what this world looks like from the road with the shader pack on, so let's head back on over to HermitCraft. Now, this is truly the way to enter Scarlandia, through the bridge and into the city. Scarlandia was built in 2017, not the greatest year for me, and a place like Scarlandia was so great to come in and forget the troubles of the real world and spend some time with you guys and of course creating this city. Now it's gonna load a little slow now with the shader pack, but it just gives us this whole other light to see the city gleaming as it really truly was meant to be, if you will. You know, have the shaders here making everything all shiny and absolutely beautiful. So I don't know where to start. I just kind of want to walk through the city and look at it all. So of course, this was the very first skyscraper that we built in the city. Still one of my personal favorite ones. So let's get in there. Now, most of these skyscrapers have a little bit of function to them, so there may be a farm attached in the inside or things along those lines. But this one was just kind of just built as more of a template for the rest to see what kind of colors and what kind of designs that we will be using throughout the entire city. But it did have this absolutely beautiful pool on the back. Absolutely love it. Using the terracotta to create a mosaic feel to the interior of it. And it's got cup fans bounce pad, so you jump down here and it'll bounce you out. Well, it used to work. Here we go. There, no, I'm one with the slime apparently now. Here we go. Okay, that's not gonna work. But anyway, this looks really relaxing, right? It'd be nice to get a lounge chair, sit by the pool, looking super fancy. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the interiors were not completed just because of the sheer amount of resources it took just to get the structure of the city built. We're well above, grade here. So that took a lot to get up to this point and to build these roads into the tunnels that go off into the distance and things like that. So skyscraper in the center here, there is one. Please believe me, I worked really hard on it. It's just not rendered in at the moment. Hopefully when we come out, there'll be a grand reveal of the skyscraper. So this was our next tower. And this one, of course, is the sugarcane tower. And this is where the sugar baron himself lives. And once again, the interiors weren't quite up to scratch. And in this tour, I will definitely look at like what I did wrong, what I could have done better and things along those lines. And what I could have done better, of course, is to be able to build interiors within these spaces. Now, this is an Azuma contraption for sorting. So we have a massive amount of sugarcane in here. So look at all that sugarcane. It is absolutely insane. But yeah, maybe you guys could help me with these interiors. Download the world and put your own touch on the interior. That would be really, really cool. So out the back here, we got a basketball court. This looks fun, right? This looks really fun. Play a little basketball amongst all the trees and details like that. But I think this is a very beautiful tower. I think it came out really, really nice, just the way we want it. And of course, up in the upper areas, that's all like sugarcane systems up there to dispense all the sugarcane that we captured within that. And I think it came out really well. I'm very, very pleased with that. Now, the building across the way was the last skyscraper that we built, but I think it was very unique. Probably the most unique of all the structures in that it had this very cool facade with these little pieces of quartz sticking out the sides with a little bit of foliage. I feel like kind of enhanced like a very green feeling. There's a building in Portland, Oregon that has these green walls that vines grow on, and that's kind of what it was inspired by. And of course, it's more of a residential area, as this portion of the city was the residential area, of course, because these have a feeling of like, you know, like an apartment. See how they kind of line up all the way up? They kind of have a little bit of a condo feel to them. So I think that that came out nice. Like I said, I just really wish that I was able to do the interiors and put more roads on the streets, but I am only a simple Scar. And that right there is finally the grand reveal of the skyscraper, the largest building here in the city and the real base, if you will, of the city. So that's kind of my actual base. Now down below here, of course, is where the cats live. You know, the cats, that's the residents of the city. They got to have somewhere to go. And this was the tunnel. This is the first thing we built together for the city. We built this tunnel out. And once again, this was a bit of a template that we used to design the rest of the things in the area. So pop it on down here. This is so cool. This is built by CubFan. And this is my logo. It lives under the ground, I guess. I have no idea how this works. This is true magic right here. I think Cub is a wizard. Hashtag Cub's a wizard. I want to see it in the comments. Hashtag Cub's a wizard. And this is my logo, and it just appears out of the ground. One truly wonders how this is even possible. But that is absolutely fantastic. Man, I love that thing. So heading on up here, our next tower that we built was the dueling towers. So these are two identical towers attached in the middle with a sky bridge. So look at that. You know what's fun about this tour is we're not flying. As much as I love the fly here on the server, I like to see these buildings for what they are, you know, looking at them from the ground level and just truly appreciating all the design that they have from the ground, because we always look at them from the air. So it's kind of fun to see them in a new light. So in the interior here, once again, they're not very freshened up in terms of design, unfortunately. Like I said, I'd love it if you guys did it for me. But this is a functional area. Each one of these towers, unfortunately, you can't see it, but there is a cactus farm in it, and it produces an insane amount of cactus here. And I've used a lot of it for the landscaping and things along those lines. So once again, big thanks to Cub for creating that for us. And of course, Azuma for creating our storage system here to help us be a little more organized. And the sun sets over this area. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now, over in the distance there, you can see our wind turbines spinning away, keeping Scarlandia powered and looking super beautiful. But let's walk this way now. And across the street, or at least across the way, this is the Cat Defense Tower is our next stop. And then, of course, to our right, eventually we'll see the BFR once it appears for us. As the world is not loading as fast as we may want with the shaders, but it's just nice to kind of see the world in this whole new light. I think that is pretty cool. So up to our right-hand side here, we've got the police van. And that, of course, is the Cat Defense truck bringing some creepers to jail because creepers are no good, dirty, rotten scoundrels. Look at them in there. Jeez Louise. And they're heading off to the Cat Defense Force. So this is the city jail / police station. So it's a little bit more sinister in feel when you look at this building, as it has a lot more darker tones to it. And the reason was that I wanted it to be a little bit darker. It's a jail after all. And that's kind of the reason why it's a little bit spooky. And if you look up at the top, there's a cat watching over, and there's also a helicopter on the top. And once we do take flight in a minute, we can definitely take a little bit closer look at that. So when you head inside, this is even though it's not a very freshened interior, you know, lots of details, I think the actual farm is beautiful up there. It's entirely made of obsidian. And of course, you have the slime and the pistons that push the creepers down. So the creepers live on these little cells, and then I don't know. Did we see one fall? Oh yeah, there's one. Haha, that's awesome. So one did actually fall, and then they fall and the minecart comes and swoops it up. So I'm very, very bad at redstone, but I tried really, really hard to make this thing cool, and it definitely works. And we've got a ton of gunpowder to show for it. And this is the garage here, the Mumbo garage door, who just went out of his way to make that, and that was super, super cool. I broke it multiple times, and he's always been kind to honor his warranty services. And then across the street here, we've got the Scarlandia Fire Department. So we try to take, you know, the design of a fire department. We made a little like a siren, if you will, that red and white over there. Excuse me, Mr. Zombie, we're having a nice little tour and a little reminiscing of the past, and I don't need your business. So I think this came out nice. This Scarlandia Fire on the side over there. And like I said, I like the little red and white and red because it kind of gives a feel of a siren on top of a fire truck. And of course, there is like a little captain's truck inside there. These doors are very modern. I think this is just an absolutely fantastic fire station. I think it came out really well. And then, of course, the entrance is just over here. And sadly, it's a theme around here. No interiors. I wish we could have got to it, but my philosophy was we've got to make a city before we just focus 100% on an interior. But between illnesses and things this year, I just didn't have all the time that I wanted to in this season to get all those things done, unfortunately. But I do think we were able to get at least a decent amount done. Hopefully you guys like that. Now let's walk over here to see this fire truck. Oh my gosh, this one is fantastic. Look at this thing pulling on into town. About the Creeper Building Inspector, you escape from your cell. We got a dispense of him. And the roads, they go off pretty far, depending on your render distance. I usually like to keep it around 24, 22. It's a little higher right now. It's about 28 right now, but they kind of disappear in the distance when you do have a lower render distance. And so there's the truck. And here is our light poles and, of course, our signaling. So this is our traffic signal. So originally I didn't have yellow because apparently I just completely forgot the traffic signals have a yellow, but we got the yellow in there. I think it's looking really nice. And you got the crosswalks in this area. So our next stop, and unfortunately it doesn't have a driveway. I always meant to make that, but that of course is our spaceport. And no better way to enjoy a good spaceport is if we take flight ourselves. Unfortunately, it is still dark out, but that's okay. So up here we have the BFR, and I think it almost looks a little bit more grand in the dark here. So you can see the plume coming out of the bottom down below. So that of course is SpaceX's BFR inspired, and that's taking off from the Scarlandia spaceport down below. Also doubles as a mob farm, because I'm also incredibly good here at making mob farms, completely unintentional. If I tried to make a real mob farm, guarantee you, nothing would spawn. But when I unintentionally make one, that's when they produce like crazy. So let's land here. And as you guys can see, the BFR is taking off right there. And now we have a VTOL on this side, just hovering, waiting for its passengers. So I think that's looking really, really nice. So those are two BFR towers, a VTOL, and of course a traditional runway across here. Now I'm gonna break this, remind me to fix this when I come back. There we go. So in the interior here, I think this looks really nice. It's kind of a little area for you to sit and wait for your flight and things along those lines. And I think this area came out really nice. It's such a beautiful view, like looking out over the skyscrapers, and oh, you can even see the fire station from here. Bad people. Okay, we're gonna take the express route just right out of here, right down the jetway, and we'll fix that. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Wait, I'm too fat to fit through there, apparently. There we go. Oh man, this was a fun project. I love aviation, I love space travel, and that was a really fun project to work on. And I wanted to make it as futuristic as possible, so that's why the runway is a little bit elevated, as you guys can see. It's kind of on, it looks like a coffee table in a way. It does look like that a bit. So over here, we've got our wind turbines, so you can see those just a little bit more clearly as they power the city. And then on the other side over there, we have our solar panels. So we're just keeping kind of a green vibe. So when you think of the future, you kind of think of these type of things. So I think it gives out a nice feeling. Oh, here they are. There's our solar panels looking super fancy. Absolutely love those. Now we were terraforming these areas. So this area is nicely terraformed, all custom trees, along with our fancy, fancy bridge here. So I think this area looks absolutely fantastic with custom cliffs and everything along there. So that's looking super great. Now the last fire truck is right around the skyscraper here. So if we take a giant turn and swoop it over here, this is our ladder truck. So we'll just fly on down here. So this is, of course, the ladder truck. So it has the ladder on the top and the sirens and all the little cool little details that you would expect from, fire truck. Apparently, there's a lot of fires around here. There's fire trucks driving everywhere. There's police everywhere. I never got the citizens' vehicles, unfortunately. But that'll come if you want to, right? Because I have areas in the city that are still open for construction. And honestly, I might actually continue to work on the server. I might download it and maybe even just finish it off and build the other skyscrapers in this area, a hospital, a school, and a construction site of a skyscraper building. Those were the plans for that area back there, but unfortunately we just didn't have the time to complete those. And then over here is our nether portal. So this season we had these things called rifts, and this was of course created by Iskall. The theme of these rifts in the nether hub were these little portal things, right? And so what we've kind of done with that is we've expanded upon it and made it so that's what's destroying the community area. And of course, I kind of added one here, like it's starting to come into my base and take over. So I think it's kind of a fun little thing to add a little bit of theme throughout the server. So everything kind of has a little bit of a coalescive theme. So I think that's really nice. So let's head into the nether and take a look at my tunnel, which is a mini recreation of the city. So let's see if it looks okay in shaders. Oh, this looks fantastic in shaders. So this is an upside down city inspired by the show on Netflix. What's it called? There's 11. She's doing her thing, throwing cars around. There's Hopper. He's always really upset, but he cares so much. Stranger Things. How could I have forgotten? Stranger Things. So this was themed as the upside down from Stranger Things. So you have the skyscrapers along the walls, you have the road system above, and then of course you have this endless ground here, which actually looks a little bit better without shaders. So it gives you a little bit better perspective of the clouds. Oh, you can see it. I hope you can see it on YouTube, but there's clouds going across here. So I think that's really, really nice. And let's head back into Scarlandia. And that's Scarlandia. I do have a surprise for you. It's a bit of a surprise, and that is the under section of Scarlandia. It's kind of the area that I'm embarrassed by, because that's where I live. I don't really have a bed in any of the skyscrapers. My bed is in a cave down below here, which I want to show you guys, because it's kind of fun to head on down here. So this is the under section of the city. So the city's all elevated. It's seismically sound, I will tell you that. I know you probably don't think so. It's probably not. One good earthquake, this thing's gonna crumble. But the city is all above us, and I think it's kind of fun to fly through here, and you can kind of see the ravine that we talked about in the very beginning of the episode off to our backside now. And if we land right here, this is our starter base. Still standing today. Massive disorganization down here in the tunnel. Just looks absolutely ridiculous. And then up here we can find our map of the city. We can pop up over here and then take a look at this. So that's the city, guys. I mean, we spent an entire year working on this, and I think it came out definitely very, very nice. Now, of course, the bottom left side we weren't able to complete, but if you guys want to take up the challenge and build your own skyscrapers, put your own mark on the city, download the Season 5 world when it becomes available, and plant your own print, if you will, right there, and it'll look super sweet. I want to see what you guys have. I want to see the creativity of you guys take over that section and make it look super awesome. So let's actually zoom in here real quick and just look at some of those cool little details up there. Ah, that's fun. I love Minecraft, right? You can love Minecraft too. Why else are you watching this video? But it's fun because it allows us to be so creative and to take the things that are in our minds, like if you have a castle or a city or anything along those lines. Apparently it's not nighttime anymore, so let's head out and wave goodbye to this thing one more time in the chat. Wave goodbye, guys. Wave goodbye. Bigger and better things await us, and hopefully a slightly better organized. I'd like to, excuse me, I'm trying to get out of here. Thank you. But Minecraft's fun, right? It's something that gives us a creative outlet to express what's inside, and I absolutely love it. Wouldn't give this game up for anything. Continue to play it my entire life, as I have so many ideas of things to create for future series. And yeah, I always have to thank you guys for following along for such a long time, for close to 100 episodes we had here as we built this insane city together. And I hope you join me in Season 6, because we have some awesome plans once again there. So if you made it to the end of the video, hashtag season 6 hype. I want to see it. If you made it to this long and you're a true Scarlanian, do that for me. That would be much appreciated. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys watching my videos, watching my series, and just hanging out with me. And until next time, we'll see you later. And don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become Scarred for life. Only true Vexes stay till the very end of videos to see the mysterious Vex penthouse at the top of the skyscraper. And of course, you get a really, really great view of above with the actual sun out, because a lot of that tour was in the dark. But I thought that kind of added a mysterious feel to the city, and I liked it quite a bit. But let's fly quickly up into the actual tower here and take a look at this. So once the Vexes achieved full dominance of the server, they spent their money, I'm pushing all sorts of buttons here, they spent their money on this. This is the massive Vex penthouse at the top of the skyscraper. And look at all this crazy stuff. Got some storage, you got massage tables. Now, every prank that we did is fully documented with these maps above the area here. So, I mean, look, there's Mumbo's base, there's the gaming district, there's Wells, the Vex Cathedral, there's the community area, which is actually for Mr. Boom. And yeah, so that is really cool. That took an incredible amount of time to put that all together. So you got this area, you got the prank generator on this side. XP had the absolute best generated prank. That was a fantastic one. So going down the stairs here, you see once again we have our maps up on the walls of all the different pranks. There is the Ice Princess, the Motherboard, the Ren Cat, 5K, and so on. So that is really, really awesome. You got the dance floor. When I see this just screams Cub fan. Like this is kind of, I just picture Cub just going crazy on the dance floor over here doing those dance moves. And then these are devices that we keep track of the server, right? These are little radar dishes and keep an eye on all the things that go on. And of course, our hot tub filled with crushed diamond and our table where we eat our cake. And then on this side over here, these are some fun little switches and things, you know, in case code 66 happens here on the HermitCraft server, we pull that. Server domination party activator, which of course has been activated. Open the Convex Cat uphold cage, which was unleashed on TFC because he did not respect the Vexes and did not give us an offering. And of course, pull in the event of a Convex HQ breach. Code kick is a lie, which is not, because you can't come up here unless you are authorized, of course. But there you go, guys. That is the Vex HQ in all of its glory. And aren't you glad you stayed to the end and you're a true Vex? But until next time, my friends, we'll see you in Season 6.